Hi, my name is Duguay, and I'm here to talk about the territorial basis for an interregional circular economy. The purpose of this presentation is to engage in a reflection regarding a circular economy and then to clear up any misconceptions around a circular economy so that we well understand what a circular economy is, and then link it to territoriality, which could serve as a foundation in order to integrate a circular economy in a systematic manner within the regions or the territories. So what is a circular economy? It's a economic system based on exchange and production, and it's completely different from the linear system, but it includes the linear system. It's a bit of a paradox, but we find the linear system within a circular economy, but however we'll not be able to find a circular economy within the linear system. At all stages of a product or services life cycle, each of the phases of a linear system, we can create loops within a circular economy in order to optimize the production flows that already exist and the effectiveness and of already extracted resources, so that we can lower our environmental impact by using what has already been extracted. This is by doing so while developing the well-being of individuals, because our economy nowadays is based on a capitalist system, and based on this capitalist approach, it doesn't include well-being, but circular economy includes well-being in the logic of the economic system. And so it's very important to make the difference between the well-being of individuals. It cannot be punctual. It has to be something that is embedded in a way of life, in the way that we understand the economic logic. So that, for example, is if you lose your money, you're going to lose your quality of life, and that's not what people want. We can see here in a very quick and visual manner that we can see that a circular economy doesn't stop with recycling. Recycling is just one of the pillars and actions of a circular economy, among others, that integrate in a systematic manner the different notions within an economic model. So we look at the demand, and then we'll look at the waste management. So we can see, for example, the sustainable procurement. Then we also the eco design in the territorial industrial ecology, and then based on the demand and consumer behavior, we'll have responsible consumption based on the purchases. So it's by using resources that have already been extracted. So as term as a consumer, that's what you'll be doing. And then there's also, for example, the extension of use, so that, for example, has to do repair, reuse, and recycle to give a second life to resources and to integrate it and to reintegrate it within the production cycle. And what's important here is that I want to highlight the fact that a circular economy is not just recycling. Recycling is just one of the actions for a circular economy. We often hear about, or in the media or in the press, that a circular economy is recycling. But we see it here, and we'll see it later on, that the circular economy logic is something that is embedded in different ways through different cosigns that were designed and developed. So on this slide, I gave you the definition of each of the different axes and the notions and the strategic axis included in the circular economy logic, and which needs to be included within each stage of the life cycle of a product or service. So here on this diagram, we can see both the circular system and the linear system. So when we look at the linear system, cannot be integrated within a circular economy. So it's a reverse. That's what I meant. So within a linear system, the circular economy cannot be integrated itself because it is a supplement to the linear system that is fostering more sustainable development and more sound resource management and mining practices. And then within the circular economy, we cannot do the reverse. You need to have this linear economy as a foundation for the circular economy, but it's together that they become a new economic system. And this slide explains exactly what I'm trying to communicate. So we have the foundation of the linear system that you can see here, and I've broken down the different production stages. So extraction, transformation, distribution, use. So this is what you see for the linear system. And then within that, as a complement, we include the circular economy logic so that together reduce the extraction of raw materials and lower the environmental footprint. So through the repair, reuse, and recycle principles, we can do recycling, which is one of the elements, and the reuse, but that's not all of it. Like we can see earlier, there are 7 main axes, and what we can see, we only find some of them. So here on this slide, we can also see the linear system with the circular economy in complement that creates a new economic system. We cannot extract out the linear system because we just be polarizing what existed beforehand. But we cannot say that what exists currently is the best economic manner in order to preserve and protect the environment. And I can understand, or that I can assure you, that sustainable practice is based on a system that uses up resources, but one day those resources will be used up. So there's some forecasts that have been made for researchers that are looking into this subject, and we know that resources will be used up, and one day we'll have used everything up, and we already see it for some certain products right now. And we also see that each of the steps of the transformation process, we are able to use technology to create loops in order to integrate, be it resources or products within the production cycles. So in order to use these products more frequently, in order to extend the shelf life of products, or to give a new life to resources. So we talked about the circular economy. We've defined it. Now we're going to talk about territoriality. Now, territoriality is an action where the individuals make up a common group for the common good, and that it's about sharing. It's about sharing their values. And territoriality, it's the way the territory is lived by the residents through the different relations. And if we reflect about the territoriality, each of the territory is its own. It's a reality of its baggage, of its history, of its social dynamic, and it becomes a way of complex unity, which is completely different from the linear system. Yeah, of course, there's going to be similar points at certain aspects, but there are not many. So if you look here, when we're talking about territoriality, we have so that we can see that the design of the territorial, we can look at the cultural, political, and social design, and we can see that the territory can be defined in different ways based on the territoriality within that territory. But we can go a bit further in the analysis that allows us to understand that territoriality, whether it is what has been lived by the population, it materializes on the territory. The individuals adapt the territory to their image, but it's also can be identified in different spheres. So for example, you can have cultural dimensions that are going to be different from one region to the next. It'll have the political and social that will change also. So they will give a specific flavor to a territory. So now we talked about circular economy. We talked about the territoriality. So my question, so are they able to fit in together if they become allies and they can be used for something? So in Dan's, Torres, and Durban Below's document, the territorial factor can question the sustainable development capabilities of a territory. So some of you have said that yes, it could be designed this way. Great for them. This approach, the objective, is to reconcile this economic development, social life, and the development of the rest of the province, but in a much broader way. So, for example, in China, for example, their notion of territory was an institutional parameter. So, by defining 3 dimensions, so you have the house that's a co-park, and then you have the city, and then the region. When you talk about industrial and technological capabilities, they're going to exchange energy flows, so they're including that notion of a closeness. So for this type of action within a circular economy. To go even further, for industrial environmental practices, you need to have a social framework that is integrated within the community, and the configuration is based on the different stakeholders and how they manage resources and how they challenge or question the different strategies and initiatives that are rolled out. That makes me think that the territoriality of a territory informs a type of issues and governance that could be exercised in terms of the instauration of the different economic dynamics within a territory. So we can say that, it's more accessible, that it's easier to manage because it's systematic, and so there's different networks that are in place. And then it really, you can have the flux of different circuits that it promotes local economy. So here on this slide, we can see the different advantages that we can see in terms of the RMC. So each individual here, there was economic activities that were overriding. So based on those overriding priorities, we can come up with different solutions or reasons based on that. So to conclude, I don't have enough time, so I'm just going to let you read it. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me.